Ready?
Hey guys, welcome to the All-Encompassing podcast. I'm your host, Brian. I'm here with,
Xerona with an X.
welcome to the second episode.
Yeah.
And we'll meet again and actually do our second episode. I'm still editing and still doing bits about the first episode, so hopefully I'll get that done soon. Still working on logos and things like that as well, so that's why it's taking me.
Right.
But definitely, I'll probably do once I figure that part out. The second would be a lot easier, so I'll probably do like a double upload. Having
Mm.
two episodes out. But yeah, so welcome to the podcast. This podcast or this episode of the podcast, we're definitely gonna maybe talk a little bit more about ourselves, like we said at the end of the first one. A little bit of our story a bit so you can get to know us. And then
Right.
we'll just start going into our nonsense at the end, I guess. Whatever we want to do. So yeah, so I believe Xerona will start first about a little bit about herself.
What about myself? So my name is Xerona. My full name is quite long though, but I'm Nigerian. That's part of West Africa. I'm from the Igbo tribe because Nigeria has like so many tribes, like up to like 250 tribes. So it's like a very diverse kind of country. I'm currently living and studying in South Korea. I'm a recent graduate in tourism management and hospitality. Yeah, I'm a service provider. And a little bit about me. I think I'm just a average ENFJ person that just really enjoy being happy, really want to like enjoy being young. One thing that is important about me is Christianity. I'm really about, God. I put God first in everything. Um, how do I talk about how I came to Korea? How I came to Korea. So this people might not believe this, but how I came to Korea was the most random way ever. So my initial plan when I was in 12th, 11th grade was to go to either America or Canada. So I remember I applied to Virginia Tech,
Mhm.
um, Johnson and Wales in Florida. Um, there was a school that my parents really wanted me to go in Canada. It was called Okanagan College. It was in a very small city in Canada in British Columbia. And so I was waiting for my visa to, process, and it was taking a long time. So I was just watching Korean drama. And I don't normally watch Korean drama. I'm more of like a Japanese anime kind of person. So my friend was like, yo, you gotta watch this, it's really good. So I was watching Korean drama one day, at home. And my father just popped up the idea, hey, should we try going to Asia? Why don't we just try going to South Korea for school? And I was like, okay, let's try it out. And then I remember I had my laptop. I Googled, because I always wanted to study tourism and hospitality. So best tourism and hospitality school in South Korea. And Sejong University popped up. And my dad looked at it and he was like, oh, okay, let's just try. Let's give it a try. Let's just kind of try to see how it's going to be in Asia. And me, I just really wanted to like go out. Because I was just at home doing nothing. So I was like, sure, I'm just going to, let's try South Korea. And I got in. I got it with a scholarship, and then I was like, oh, why not? Let's just try South Korea out because I was just like someone who's like ready to explore anywhere. And so I did, and that's how I came to South Korea. And as we were applying for it, we were also watching the movies called like Where Kim Bis-all, like What is Wrong with Secretary Kim? That's the name of the drama.
Mhm.
And then my dad was also watching it with me, and my guy was like, dude, because he saw the interior, like the house and the car and the boy suit. So he got the impression that South Korea is like, it's a rich person's, town. He was literally calculating that
Mhm.
my daughter's gonna get married to a guy like this. So
Oh,
my guy was really happy, my dad was happy. He was like, dude, Korea's interior is so good, and because of the drama. So he
right.
got influenced, and this guy never watches anything with subtitles. Never. So I was like, okay. and that's how I came to Korea. And after 1 year in Korea, um, it was not like Korean drama at all. It wasn't. It was. I always expected my life to be like, I'm the main character, and one rich CEO son is gonna fall in love with me, and you know, like every Korean drama. Like, I don't know if you guys watch Cheese in the Trap, the Korean drama Cheese in the Trap.
Watching drop.
It's about like university. So I always thought my life was gonna be like that. And I remember the first time I came, my hair was like it was like dreads like this, but longer and curly. And I remember I tried to make it orange, to be like the girl in Cheese in the Trap because she had orange hair.
Mm.
So I thought
Mm.
my life was gonna be like that and like, having that CEO boyfriend kind of thing, I dressed like her. I will never forget oh my God, it was March 1st, my first day in South Korea, my first class in South Korea. I literally watched Cheese in the Trap again, just so I can, try to, build up my own, Korean drama, trying to be my own main character. 4 years later, still looking for the rich CEO guy. I've never found it's not a joke. I was 17 when I came to Korea, so I still had that. And I was like, okay, if I don't stand down for, rich CEO son, maybe I can stand down for, a dentist son or an architect. And I was making like alternative,
That's just
I was like, okay, maybe I could stand down for a celebrity. I was like, okay, even if he's a trainee, that's okay. I mean, that's the next level for me, But 4 years passed. I'm still single. Never met my CEO boy. Never made my, lead character, but um yeah, that's just a little bit about myself. Through my experience you can understand I'm a very random person, but I might be crazy, but like I'm like fun crazy, you know what I mean?
mm.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
I can
yeah,
definitely.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. So don't get any bad impression, but I'm just being honest. I'm an honest, transparent person. What about you, Brian? You want to introduce yourself and why you came to Korea?
Mm. So I was born in Colombia,
Right.
born in a city called Cali, which is
Ooh.
pretty much the salsa capital of the world. Every December is always a pretty much a festival, salsa festival, and it's like the biggest thing there. It's incredible. But yeah, I'm born in Colombia. Literally a couple months old, my mom decided to, get a better opportunity, so she decided to go to the States. Took with me with her.
Mhm.
Was pretty much raised in the States. But every summer, I'll pretty much go to Colombia, so I'll always spend time with my family that was there.
Okay.
Grew up in a household where, I was learning Spanish and English, so grew
Right.
up with both. And then as time continued on, yeah, just used to live in Connecticut, just close to like New
Oh,
York area, like in the north. So I got used to the
mm,
cold.
wow.
Had like a lot of friends, family members that were there. Then around third grade, I would say, my family kind of decided to take the leap and go to Florida. And then we all moved to Florida. Stayed in Kissimmee area for about a year until we finally got our house done. Like we came, we saw it get built and everything. And the house was pretty much incredible. My mom and my sister still live there, and I visit quite a lot. And whenever I'm here, I'm always pretty much with them, so I'm always around in the house as well. Mm, Same as you, education was really good. Was really good in middle school. High school started off like really well, super easy, super like nonchalant. It was pretty simple. At the end, I started kind of like slacking off because I wasn't really sure of like what I wanted. Then,
Right.
um, because of everything, I pretty much sent my applications to like everywhere. I wanted to do it like even abroad. I was even thinking abroad at
Mm.
the time because I loved traveling and like
Right,
learning
right, right,
languages when I was even younger. So like doing that was like a passion of mine.
right.
So did that, decided to just stay closer to home-ish at the time because I thought it was probably better for me. So decided to do that. Got my AA first, and then started here at UCF. mm, Started going into finance, going into like international business, doing a lot of languages, doing a lot of like study abroad trips, traveling, a lot of that. Mm, And then that's when pretty much Korea happened. So I was thinking about like where to go because of like what I do for work and such. Because I'm already kind of like work doing like things abroad anyways. So I kind of wanted to like expand myself a little bit more, and especially in a country that I may like really enjoy. And the options there were like I would say like China, Japan, Korea, because I was always thinking of like going into like the Asian market. It's pretty much my
Right.
goal. So my first option was actually China, because the school there, was Fudan University, was like pretty much one of the best like universities in China and in Asia and pretty much the world. So that was definitely like super interesting to me. But the trip would have took like one semester longer. So that was kind of like the signing point of when I was like, okay, let me look at other places. And then Sejong appeared, and then I've been to Korea before, just once during my
Mm-hmm.
time when I was in China before. And when I went, I was only there for like a couple of days, so I'd never really experienced Korea before. So like this time, you know what, I'll give it a chance. So I went, was there, got there. My first day was August 18th, I believe, last year. Got
Mm-hmm.
there, everything was so like new and different. Um, it was honestly at the beginning, it was definitely interesting trying to get used to everything because I was so used to mm, like having a pretty much different kind of like
Right,
lifestyles
right, right,
there.
right.
Getting used to things again and enjoying the work. But then when I finally took the classes at Sejong, at the beginning it was kind of confusing because like things weren't really explained well and
Right.
things like that. But then luckily after a bit of time, I would probably say maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I was kind of doing things on my own with the people that I went from my university that are friends with us now, and we'll probably have them on the podcast later, like Natalie, Kira, Nicole, Helen. They're all people that went with me from my university, and so we were kind of together. But then they were doing their hospitality stuff, and I was doing more of my business area with Nicole. So yeah, I would say at the beginning it was definitely interesting just because, like I said, it was kind of just doing things on our own. But then after that, got to meet more people, made some friends in classes, more friends that hopefully, again, you guys will meet soon at some point. Many, many of them. Probably the next episode we'll have one, a part of our ENFJ group. Uh, so look forward to that. But luckily, yeah, it got so much better after like a couple weeks. Got to meet incredible people like
Mm-hmm.
here, and then really enjoyed it. My time there, the food was incredible. Just traveling around, doing all different types of things. Like it was just enjoyable. Like every day was just so unique and interesting. And some things about um, like getting our alien registration card and things like that was a little bit of a weird process because it took
Right,
way
right, right.
longer. Like literally, I got it when I was about to leave, so there was like kind of like no point of even doing it, I guess. But other than that, the classes were fun. Professors were great, um, so I had no complaints. And then so yeah, but kind of like Xerona said, um, I'm also Christian as well, so I'm definitely like God first. And most decisions that I try to take, I always try to look at it in a perspective of what I should do, not only for myself, but best for, the path to follow him, but also take care of
Right.
myself. So,
Right.
mm, I'm very thankful for the decision I definitely made and like the opportunity that I got. Um, but yeah, I'm like Xerona, I'm in ENFJ as well. So I'm quite interesting, I would say, just because like the people when they
Mm.
look at me first,
Right.
people when they look at me first, they think I'm like quite serious or quite like
Right. Right. Right.
shady. But then when you like really get to like know me, I tend to be quite like talkative and really like
Right.
open and like communicative. So
Right.
like people find that like really like what like I never expected you to be like that. And also I'm a lot older because I pretty much like took time off for like 2 years. So like compared to like everyone that was in the university, I'm a lot older. So I'm right now 27, but I was 26 before I got to Korea. Um, so it was kind of interesting, meeting everyone that was a little bit younger. So it was kind of fun in a way, just because like when I tell them, they'll be like shocked. I remember like a couple of reactions from people there. They'll be like, "What? No way!" I'll be like, "Yeah."
Right.
But
It's like, no, you're not. You're
yeah,
not that old. Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So it was like very unique in a lot of ways for sure. And but yeah, I tend to be. I really like meeting new people. Really like talking with people.
Right.
I'm always the kind of person that really wants to like make sure everyone's all right. I always try to reach
Right.
out where I
Right.
can,
Right.
message,
Right.
make sure people are enjoying themselves, taking care of themselves. Mm,
True.
yeah, I really am the kind of person that really just wants to surround myself with actual, like, genuine people that
People.
actually care
Right.
about other people and care about me as much as I would care about them as far as like
Right.
having. So like whenever I meet people like that, like Xerona and everyone else, it was just like, oh, we're gonna be friends for like a long time. It
Right.
was so easy, and our group was like crazy, fun,
Our
enjoyable.
group was quite great. And the funny thing is that we bonded so fast
Hmm.
and then we became close so fast. So like even like some of my friends are like, did you know them before? I'm like, no, I just met them this semester. I just knew them less than 3 months. You know
Hmm,
what I
yeah.
mean? But we became so close so fast. I think it's just like because we share kind of the same values.
Hmm,
It's like, that genuine taking care of other people kind of
hmm,
thing. Like, yeah, and like we really talk like we get energy from people. Like, I
right.
don't know if you get that. You
Definitely.
get energy from people, but like
Yeah, yeah.
you know, like for me, sorry to cut you off, but like for me,
Hmm,
like when I'm with, like, I don't know if you have the same thing, but like when I'm with people, I feel happy. But when I see like there's some certain characteristics, like if you're rude or like you're just like what's the word sad or like I don't know if they have those just like negative vibes. I
hmm,
just want to like withdraw myself from them because like I feel like if I stay with people like that, I become like that. I don't know if you kind of get like I have like a communicable vibe disease. I don't know if that's maybe that should be a new disease though. I think because like there are a lot of people like that. I think there's another pandemic going out. It's called bad virus vibe.
hmm,
Bad, yeah. Like I don't know if you're like that. Like, are you like that? Like when you see people like
hmm,
naked, like being rude or just nasty, like you just want to like social distance yourself from them
hmm.
because you get that like how to say like you get that negative energy and
Yeah,
you become negative like that. Do you ever
yeah,
get
yeah.
things like that? Right?
Mm, for me,
Right.
I actually, whenever I see people like that, like rude and like not
Mm,
very friendly or like actually
yeah,
care about others, I definitely
yeah.
separate myself completely.
Same, right. Mm.
I'm not one to like if they show that character to like copy it. I'm not one to kind of do
Uh,
that just because I always tend to kind of be myself. But I do feel like negative, and then I'll start like not enjoying the situation that we're in.
right,
Then
right,
I'll start to
right.
like think about that. So like I definitely like separate myself completely from like people like that.
Right,
Like
right.
I said, I always tend to really just want to be around people that like the character that I want to show them, or like the genuineness that I have, or like the care that I actually have about them. I hope
Right.
there are people that actually have the same kind of value of that
Right.
jump to me. Like if I give you
Mm,
time, I want somebody to also, give me time and
right. Like a give and like being fair. Like gotta
yeah,
be
yeah,
fair. Like give and take kind of right.
yeah, yeah.
Also, I also have a question though. Um, like for me, I'm very like I get influenced easily by people who I'm surrounded with.
Mm,
Um, I don't know, maybe because of my age, I'm still young, maybe, but like I'm gonna talk about my high school experience. Guys, my high school experiences are, I went to boarding school for 6 years in Nigeria. If you've ever been to a Nigerian boarding school, you know the struggles and you know what you have done. And you learn a lot of what did we not do? I did a lot of things.
I mean,
We
those stories you
smuggled,
told me.
oh my God, we smuggled food. We steal people's food. I think one person beat up the kitchen staff, I think, because of chicken. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, like a lot of I never do all these bad things. Don't get me wrong. I never do all these bad things. I just know people who do it, and I don't just say anything. So, But I remember when I was in like even in elementary school, like I always wanted to be like friends with everyone. I don't know if you have that, like I always want to be friends with everyone, and not everyone is gonna like you. Not everyone wants to be your friend, but for me, I felt like everyone had to be my friend, and everyone has to be my friend. Everyone has to like me. I have to be cool with everyone, and then that's why when I see people who are like like the what do you call it, like the blonde, no, not blonde, but like the bad bitches. We always had those like group,
Mm,
those
mm,
like
yeah.
bitch squad, like mean girl squad. I
Mm,
had people like that in elementary school and middle school, and because I wanted to be close to them. I started to become mean and like that. And then, you know,
uh,
you know what I mean? Like part of me, like how to say, part of me doesn't want to do it, but I do it just to please them. You know
to
what I mean?
fit
Like a
in.
people. So like I have a question. I know, but like, have you ever been in that situation? And then if you have, how did you like get over it? Because for me, I'm still trying to struggle how to get over it, but like how did you? Yeah.
Mm, interestingly enough, with me, when I was younger, I always tended to not really fall into like big groups like that, or like
Mm-hmm.
groups that in general. I tended really to like, kind of be to like myself,
Mm-hmm.
only because I've always kind of been the person that would like when you see me usually, like even when we were like, for example, at Sedrum, when you see me by myself, I'm always just having like my headphones on and I'm just walking either to class or doing something that I need to do. I'm not really one to like in like high school, if I remember, there was like certain groups that I did kind of want to like. I remember especially like a group that I was like a part of, and I definitely was like there.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things that they would like not do because they weren't like bad people at all, but things that they would say or things that they would kind of think about.
Right.
I think at the beginning I was someone that kind of like conformed and just kind of like went with it and
Right.
kind of
Right. Right.
maybe said I agree or even like maybe even said something of my own. Nothing like too crazy or vicious, but I think I was definitely like the person that kind of conformed to it. But then when I
Mm-hmm.
got out of high school, I was more to myself because during that time it was really important to me kind of figuring out who I was and who I am, like what I want to do in the future. And when I thought about all that together, it kind of made me discover in a way of like what truly I care about, the things I want to be known for or like do. And like the people that I meet and such, I don't want the thing of like to be known as someone like, oh, he surrounds himself with that, so that's why he's like that. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
known as like, oh, Brian was always like that. Like he was always that kind of person. nice, genuine, actually cared, not because like, oh, he met that person and that person's really like that, so he became like that. So I kind of wanted to take that part away. So I kind of definitely like wanted to focus more on myself. And after I really kind of yeah discovered my values more like what the type of person I definitely wanted to be and who I wanted to be, that part of me like conforming and stuff really kind of like went away, and I like totally like didn't do that. And now when I'm in groups, I'm always myself, like no matter what.
Right.
Like I definitely won't change like how I act or how I feel in certain situations. Like if I in a group now, like if I don't maybe agree with something or maybe dislike that, I can definitely be like, oh yeah, like no, I don't like that or things like that. And before maybe I wouldn't have done that, but now like I definitely am like who I am. So I think we're all kind of like that in some ways, but definitely like when you're young, because you're still kind of trying to figure everything out. Like,
Right, 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 right.
especially for you, like you're still so young in terms of like you have an idea of like things that you want to do, but there's still so much out there that you have to like
Right. Experience and stuff.
and
Yeah.
actually like surround yourself with more people. And the more you do that, the more experience you get, the more you try to like really figure out like exactly what it is,
Right.
who what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to be known for. And after some time, that mindset of being like conformed to like changing your attitude will go away. Because you'll always want to be the same Xerona no matter what.
Right.
That's what you value. You value being yourself. So like I think that would be my answer to that. Just because like yeah, I would definitely say I was a bit conforming when I was in high school, ending like going into college and things like that. So
Right.
definitely say I was around pretty much the same. So
Yeah, I wish like I think like because I went to an all girls school in middle school. I went to an all girls school in middle school, and an all girls school and an all girls boarding school, an all girls Christian boarding school. So like you can imagine how it was, and it was like British based. It was like a British based kind of school, really pretty school. Um, at that time it was my first, I think I was like 10 or 11, and then it was in a different state. So I used to live in the capital and it was in Lagos. Like Abuja is the capital and the school was in Lagos. So it was in a different state from where I used to live. And my mom dumped me there in an all-girls school. And you know, I think at that time, like I was trying to figure out myself because my roommate, one of them had like a sister that was a senior, and one of them, her sister was like a prefect who had like presidents, like prefects, like president, vice president,
mm,
people in charge of health, like those kind of things. So she was like that. And one of my other friend was like she had like a cousin or family friend there, and I had no one there. You know what I mean? I had no one in that situation. Um, I was only one there. I had no friends that graduated from that school. I had no cousin or family member or even friends that went to that school. So like it was just like I'm on my own. And my parent, I didn't I used to live in Lagos, but we moved. So I was just on my own. So I think from that time, at the age of 10, 11, being, and I was the tallest and the biggest because puberty hit me early. So I was like the tallest and everyone was shorter than me. So you can
mm,
imagine like even like I was taller than 10th and 11th graders. So people would like Moji would be like would think like I'm that senior, would expect me to be mature. So because of my stature and everything, people always like I had to be forced to be mature and I had to be forced to be like this and
mm,
that, right?
mm,
And I knew no one of course, in a boarding school, and of course, in boarding school, you couldn't go out. You didn't have like those days where you couldn't go out. You're locked in the gates for 4 months, no Wi-Fi, no phones. You couldn't use phones, you couldn't use Wi-Fi, you couldn't use computers. You could only get phone calls once a week. If that is if your parents are fast enough to call, because we had like 700 kids and there was only like four cell phones, right? And sometimes I won't even hear from my parents for like 2 months, not because they didn't call me, but just because like other parents
It's
were faster in
yeah.
calling or stuff like that, right? So for me, I remember I think I just started to go. My first year was kind of my first year. The seventh grade was pretty rough because I did fight with a lot of my what do you call it, like people from my sets, like people from my classes. Not a lot, but like half of them because like of my stature, because I was big and you know what I mean, and I always and I'm big, like I was big and like my stature was big, but inside I was very sensitive and weak. So people would like call me fat and I would cry and feel so sad. And if you're African or you're Latino, your mom, I told my mom someone was bullying me. I told her that someone in my class was bullying me. And I don't know how maybe parents would be like, oh, go to the principal. My mom said, if she bully you, bully her times two. If she slap you, you slap her times two. My
Oh,
mom said, like, my mom was like, no, I let you come here because I want you to be mature. You cannot, how's the word, that you couldn't cry. If it was a senior, it's a different case, you know what I mean? But if someone in my class or someone younger than me. So I remember I used to tell my mom, like, oh, I don't want to be mean. And my mom said, if she's mean to you, be mean to her back. If both of you get suspended, both of you get suspended. Like that is how an African mother, especially a Nigerian mother, would do. She says, fight fire with fire. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I was just too weak to do that. And then at the eighth grade, I think that's when I started learning because first time I think we had like eight roommates. Imagine you're in boarding school, you had eight different roommates. You don't know where all of them are from different tribes, because Nigeria is very different. Some Igbo, one is Yoruba, one is from Hausa, one is this country, I had one from England too. So we all grew up from different background and everything. So I think like uh I cried not because I missed home, but I cried because it was just so much pressure at that young age. And in
Right.
Nigeria, like the thing is that they send kids at the age of, I think the youngest was 8, 9, 10, 11 in a different boarding school, with seniors. So your seniors could sometimes bully you. Your seniors could, you know what I mean? So I think like at that time I was trying to like, what's the word? Like I was just getting people's personalities just because I didn't know who I was. I don't know if that makes sense. And then high school came, and then that school kind of made me be more feminist and more independent. I don't say feminine, like an independent woman. You know what I mean? Because it was an all-girls school. It was about women, it's empowerment, women is this, women is that. You know what I mean? Like very, very like women independent fighting kind of school.
Hmm.
Like you're a woman, you gotta do this. You're a woman, you don't like, you know what I mean? You're a woman, you have to do this. You're a woman, you have to do that. So you gotta balance your life. And then in high school, oh my God, high school was like I went to a mixed school in like the outskirts of the city because my middle school was in the city, and then my high school was in the outskirts of the city. And we had like rich people in my school, but the school was just like where you see like everyone had a group. You know what I mean? Everyone had that. There was a popular group. I told you about the long tie group. So it
Yeah.
was a thing, right? If a boy had a long tie, it meant that he was cool. This is not a joke. High school, like, so a boy will have a long tie. I think like 10 to 11th grade. If a boy had a long tie that passes over his belt, like his belt buckle, it means he was a cool guy. And then every girl wanted to date a guy, you
For a
know,
long
that
time.
had long tie. And the funny thing was that you got to be like the other long tie boys had to accept you before you could put your long, because like if you were not
Mm.
accepted by the other group members, you couldn't put your tie long.
Mm.
So it was like, okay, I'll tell you a story. So this guy, he wasn't accepted by the group, but he just wanted to do it because he thought it was cool. And they beat the boy up the next day. We saw him with bruises and stuff. I was like, yo, man, what happened? And then he was like,
Yo.
yeah, yeah, I couldn't join this. It was, dude, it was like, I don't even know, it was, like that was how high school was. And you're in that place, you're in the outskirts of the city, you know what I mean? Like you can, like even if you try to run away, you're in the middle of a jungle, like you're in the middle of nowhere, like no
Mm.
transportation, no anything, right? So like even if you try to, because I remember some of my friends, they try to jump the fence, to get out of the school. They went out of the school and then they're like, you guys, even if you run away, there's no place to run away. You know what I mean? So that was kind of school I was in.
No
That was kind
place.
of, and we had no. I think we only had like, it depends if your teacher liked you, especially if your computer teacher liked you. So we had like 1 day of browsing period, like where you could have like 30 minutes to go on the web, or 30 minutes to send an email, or 30 minutes to do anything with the internet, right?
Mm.
And oh my god, I felt like I was in the Hunger Games. So like I think that I was trying to like, I felt like, and everyone's in a group. And one thing about me is that I don't really like groups. Like I have a certain amount, like I have friends. I have a, like, how to say, I'm in a group, but I don't like to do everything with that group. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
I don't want to like, oh, that's the same people I'm gonna eat lunch with, that's the same people I'm gonna eat dinner with, that's the same people I'm gonna go to class with. I felt like for me, I think especially in middle school, I hated that. Like, so I have people like, oh, if we're in the marketing team, or I had my marketing group guys, I had my restaurant group guys, I had my whatever group. It's not like I don't value close friendship, but I just feel like I don't want to be like stuck with a certain amount of people doing everything together. I don't know if are you like that? Like, do you have that like same
Mm.
like idea, or like same? I don't
For
know.
me, I think I'll start in a different point, like
Mm,
kind of with you when I was younger, especially like it was mostly like middle school. I was
mm,
actually kind of like bullied in some way, like not like crazy or anything like
mm.
serious, where it was
Right,
like,
right, right, right.
but like there's definitely like occasions. So
Right.
like I think when I was younger, because of those things, it kind of forced me to like hold things inside. So when that
Right.
period between like no elementary, then like middle school to like beginning high school, maybe middle high school.
Mm,
Um, that's when like I was like really to myself and like really
mm,
uh like didn't want to share my emotions just because like
mm.
it kind of I kind of built like a kind of like a defense or like a
Right,
wall
right, right,
around me. So it was like never kind of wanted to share kind of things like that. Then as I grew older, I kind of figured out like that was definitely not the best thing to do
right,
because the longer you keep things like that inside, the worse it kind of gets over time. Because then
right,
you just
right.
think about it, kind of affects you. So like thankfully, I was able to kind of like figure that out, and I kind of learned to be more open about like the things that have gone on in my life and
Mm,
experiences I've had and things like that. So I'm
mm.
always wanting to be like so open and things. I've even been asked like, why are you sharing like things like
Right.
that? I'm usually one to like at times record like let's say a story on Instagram and be like, hey guys, how you want to share this story about me, and then I'll share something that happened to me before, and then maybe
Right, right, right.
I even get messages like, oh hey, why did you say that? Like that's not like
Yeah.
good to say. And I'm always just like, why? Like, I wish people would word to be like that. Like,
Right.
actually say how they feel more, because then that thing
Right.
that inside would be just like let out, and they would finally
Mm,
have peace, you know. And then as far as like um being in the like having people around me, mm, when I was younger, I always kind of was the opposite. I wanted to be around people because
mm,
back then I didn't really know the difference between like like a someone that's around to like an actual friend.
mm.
I kind of struggled with that because at the beginning, like I would make like a bunch of friends and then people would leave and I'll just be like, oh, it just happened. You know, the next one is just gonna be like an actual
Right.
friend. So like I would be like friends with like a bunch of people, and then yeah, as time went on, you I just learned like, yo, okay, they didn't actually want to be my friend really, or didn't
Right,
actually
right.
care, they didn't reach out or anything. So then that took me like a long time because I would always like come up with something like, "Oh, it was my fault. My fault I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't do enough to like reach out or say
Did
things.
you?
You know? So I think I struggled with that. Like I always thought like quantity was like important, like
Same.
having friends. But then as time went on, like oh my gosh, I completely discovered like the opposite, where it's like it literally does not matter how many friends you have. If you have the friends that are like the actual quality that you want to be
Mm-hmm.
around, those are people that are like the most important. So like literally with me, I can literally on like my two hands, maybe a little bit more than my two hands, like count the people I would say like are like real friends that I consider like I would reach out to them and actually like talk about something serious maybe or like actually like want to do things. Like it's gotten to a point where like whenever I meet someone and like oh they say like we're friends and such, I always think of them as like an acquaintance until like,
Mm,
they actually kind of show me that they do think of me as somebody like as a friend. To me, it's
right,
always to actually like show how genuine you are and actually want to show qualities of like you want to spend time with me because I'm your friend. You want to share things. You want to like do activities because we have the same interests or things like that. Like it takes time for me to really consider people friends. So that's why I think I was shocked when I was in Korea, just because like I had that base of like waiting quite a bit to like figure it out. But like when I met like all of you guys, it was just like instant like connection because like I remember at least with you, like you said that we like connected so fast. Literally
mm,
when we had that like first discussion and I figured out that you actually like lived close by, we walked home and you remember like the conversations we had
right, 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 right,
actually felt like like genuine conversations about like life.
right.
And that's when I was like, okay, this is somebody that I want to be friends with, someone I want to get to know more, you know. And our other friends that came along were literally the same feeling, like incredible people that I wanted to meet, like more. They had an interest of wanting to be around me and all of us, and
Right.
like that, I was like, yeah, I value. So like to ask or to answer your question specifically, no, I wouldn't say like at the beginning I wanted to be around more people and not like the same people over and over again. But I've gotten to a point where it's like I don't have that many people around me anyways. Now, like I only have, like I said, a certain number of people, and I actually don't mind spending like quality time with them because those are the people I want to like spend time with.
And then with
They're like valuable. So like I would say that would be my answer, just because like it, I really had to learn it like the hard way of like really finding like actual people that I would consider friends. So I always am one to definitely say like, don't worry about like quantity of friends that you,
quality.
the number of people that you want to like be in, the number of groups. If you find that specific person or that specific group that actually like care about you and you care about them and they actually show interest to you, like be with them. Like those are people that are like being around for you, care about you, think about you. Those are people that you want to have, you know. Those are people that are gonna last. Not be there and then literally like a year later, 2 years later, you're like, oh, where did that person go? I don't even remember the
Right.
time I talked to that person. So it's like, because that happened to me a lot. Like years passed, and
Same.
I'm like, oh, I thought I was close with that person. I haven't heard from that person in a long time. So that's kind of like
Right.
my answer to that. But like, I guess for me,
Yeah.
yeah, I like surrounding myself with people just because I kind of learned that that's important to me and I don't have that much people around me in general. So like when I do have the time to like spend time with people that I care about, then I tend
Yeah. Because like I have a lot of middle school and high school friends who come to me with problems, and they always tell me like, how do you surround yourself with people? How are you popular? Because like if you know me,
to
I'm always vibrant. I'm always
yeah,
like ready to like I'm not like too extrovert. People always think I'm extrovert, but for me it's just like if I'm in a room of introvert, I'm gonna be the one who will be the extrovert. But if I'm in a room of extroverts, I'm gonna be the introverted one. You know what I mean? Um, but like I have so many, I can count like 4 or 5 middle schoolers who always ask me, oh, about like relationship problems and stuff like that. And even for me, I'm trying to figure it out because like I've had, especially in Korea, where like for me, it came to that point where like, especially since middle school, I've been in a place where I've been always in a new environment. You know what I mean? Middle school, I had no friends there. At that time, I had no friends. I knew no one who graduated from the school. I knew no one who lived in that area, and I was just dumped there. And then high school, I changed school to high school, and that's the same thing that happened for me. I knew no one there. And then college again, I came to a whole different country. I knew no one. And the thing was that I was always really young. I came to Korea at the age of 17. I couldn't even get my own, what do you call it, phone card, like phone number. I couldn't even get my SIM card because I wasn't of age to get
Wow.
a SIM card. I couldn't even go to the bar because of course, everyone in college could go, but I couldn't because I was, I had to be 19. So I had to wait for like, what, 2 or 1.5 years to be 9. So for me, I was just like always at a young age being in a different atmosphere. In a So for me, at that point, I was just really surrounded with quality. Like I had to
Right.
find, because for me, like my first year of college was really sad. I knew no one in Korea, and everyone here tends to be with people from their country, like all
Right.
Vietnamese
Right.
together, all
Right.
Chinese together, which is not a bad thing. But
No.
someone like me who there was no African. There was not even someone from the same continent as me. And there was not I had friends, but most of them were like exchange friends because most Americans are already exchange students or whatever. But there was no one that was like, that could really relate to me and everyone mostly were even the international class, everyone mostly were from Asia. And I think for me it was that time where like I had to like any person I met, it was considered a friend. So I could have like my cacao was filled with like 350 people.
Oof.
To show you, anyone I met I considered a friend. And I had some people that were really close to me, but I think last year 2022 I just felt like they won't talk to me. They won't like at a point in time they would like even like on Instagram when like I see their story and like, oh yeah, what's up? You know what I mean? Like I like to comment on people's stuff. It's just like they just said give me that cold shoulder. And I always felt like maybe it was my fault. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
oh, why did I do this? Why did I like, or maybe I didn't give too much. And I started to blame
Right.
myself. Like,
Right.
is it because I wasn't too is it 'cause and I tried to reach out to them, but not everyone is gonna reach out to you more too, you know what I mean? So I think in 2022, that's 2022 summer, before I like a month before I met you, that's when I realized like not everyone is gonna be your friend. Like I know a lot of people, but I don't consider them as I was like, oh, I know this person, or I know someone that does that. But it came to that point where I was like, if because only God is like unconditional love,
Right.
you know.
Right.
People is give and take. It's always gonna be a give and take. It may not be at that
Sure.
moment, but you scratch my back, scratch my, which is okay because we're humans, right? But
Right.
it came to the fact where I was like, I don't really want that. Like, oh, I count how many times you scratch my back, and you count how many times you scratch my back, kind of thing. So I came at a point in that summer 2022. I had this friend, I just canceled them. Like literally, like in my mind, they were just like, I'm always the first person to reach out. Hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do
Yeah,
that.
me too. Yeah.
I was always that kind of person, right? It came to a point where I was like, I don't give a shit anymore. And then they'll come and they'll be like, hey, Zana, let's go. I'm like, no, I don't want to go out with you anymore. And they're like, why? I'm like, no. Because maybe I'm with like, I'll give you a story. So I met this cute boy in Hongdae. He cute. But long story short, he had a girlfriend, so he ended up
Oh.
friend zoning me, and
Mm.
and so there was this friend. Um, we were really close though, but like I know Kapchagi, like suddenly she didn't even like reach out to me, this kind of things, right? And then I think like we didn't talk for like a year and a half. And then because I posted a picture of me and him together in a cafe, this girl reached out to me, like, hey Zara, how are you? And in my mind, I was like, oh, so you even know my life. So I was like, yeah, I'm good. What's up? And she's like, oh, who's that cute boy over there? And in my mind, I was like, and funny enough, I didn't even realize it until a month after. So I was like, oh yeah, that's my friend. His name is Jake, blah, 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 blah. And I even gave her his Instagram. I was like, yo, yeah, you can meet because
Oh,
I was
Xerona.
very look, I was very naive. Don't I was how old was that? I was 20, 21, 20, 20, 20,
Still
21.
young, still young.
And then I gave it to, and then I just met like, because those people were not friends, but they're just like, yeah, he was Korean American and yeah, he cute though. And he got some tattoos, you know what I mean? But enough about the detail, but you know he cute. You know when you see a cute guy in your friend's story, or you want to reach out, you want to know if there's a green light, So that was how, and he kept on coming. Like she would only reply me when I was with this guy. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And then this guy was not really a friend, but it was just someone I met because he was American and we kind of shared. He was from Texas, Houston, Texas, and I used to live in Houston,
Oh,
Texas. So we just suddenly matched. And then he told me we were so good friends for like, or like we only knew each other for like a week and a half. And he told me like, yo, man, like I don't want to be mean to you, but you gotta stop talking to this girl. Like I know you guys have been friends and you guys because she has helped me my deepest time. And I've helped her. And even when I was in Nigeria, like she would call me every day and I'll call her every day, during the COVID situation. But, I was telling him, like, look, this girl is no, she's not like that. This is what she did for me. Because in my mind, is like, this girl has, like, she did something really good for me. Like, people don't just do good for other people, right? And
right.
he was saying something. He said something that he struck me to this day. He said, people do good, yeah, because it's not because they're bad people, but sometimes they do good because it's convenient for them to do good. People do good to satisfy themselves. People do good maybe to satisfy or people do good because they know you're going to do good to them or stuff like that. Not everyone who does good to you is going to be like, the the best friend or the person you really need. I don't know if like you get what I mean. Like so like that. So I think at that time, like summer 2022, that was like July 2022, that's when I really realized like there are people who are gonna be good to you. There are people who are gonna be like nice. Like you guys can be best friends for like 12 years. But people change, you know what I mean? Especially nowadays. So one of my my high school friend was asking me like this, like how do you cut like not cut but like in my situation, a friend that you guys have been close to for like a long time, and then suddenly you guys are just breaking apart, and you try to reach out and everything, but the person's not reaching out to you back. So of course you're feeling like, okay, this relationship is not, it's a red light, like you gotta stop. But the question is like, how do you stop it? You know what I mean? Like, how do you just go and block the person out of your Instagram all the time? Or like, my question, how do you stop that kind of like, um, you know, toxic, or little toxic relationship kind of thing? How do you do that?
For me, unless a person was really affecting my life in a negative way,
Mm,
then literally time would just pass for me. Like
mm,
there would be a point where I just wouldn't reach out to them or like think about them at all. And then as time went on, like, oh, that person has literally disappeared. I've never been one to like block anyone or things like that because I don't think I've ever gotten in a situation where like they were so negative to where I would have to like do that or like
mm,
teaching me or bother me after the fact that like no, like this is over. Like it just happened. Like luckily for me at least, where I never had that situation where it's been friends for so long and then like it turned like sour and then you wanted to end it where I would have to like block them or do something. I've never gotten to that point. People that I've known
mm,
for like a long time, for me it's just time that just passes and like, oh, I haven't messaged that person. I don't know what's happened to him. Like I remember having friends in Connecticut, like friends that luckily in the last couple of years I've been able to see again and kind of like hear from
Mm,
them. But, like I
mm,
remember like my friend Edward, my friend Kevin. Kevin used to live like pretty much right next to me. Like
mm,
growing up, I was like over at his house every single day. I remember losing,
mm,
like we were so young. Like I remember losing a tooth, like one of my first like tooth that like fell out, eating at his home and like biting into something and literally the tooth being on the thing when I like let go. Like I remember stories like that and just like playing games with him and then my friend Edward. I remember like growing up because we would go to the same school together. Yeah, like we went to like elementary school. We went to St. Peter's, which is like Catholic school. When
mm,
younger, we went to that, and then like we were like super close and everything. And then when I moved to Florida, it kind of all disappeared. At the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, we'll say hello here and there, but then
mm,
literally years, like years and years passed. And then sometimes I would go to Connecticut and like see my family that's mostly there, like my mom's side and things like that. And like wouldn't even see them there because I kind of forgot. Then like
mm.
as time passed on, I was like, oh wait, I remember that person, so I'm really trying to reach out. So it's been quite a long time, I would say. But I remember finally like reaching out after like a long time. Oh, I saw Kevin, and he's now like they're both actually interesting. They're both nurses, both of them. And
Mm,
at least he was Edward was studying to be a nurse. I know Kevin is a nurse. Edward was studying to be a nurse. I'm pretty sure he is, or has something to do with like medical field. They're both like doing extremely well for themselves, and I'm like see them now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so different. But like, and they're like good people, but like at the same time, like I haven't like reached out with them, whereas time just
right.
passed. Like you're not, I
Mm,
wasn't there, and time just like go. And then as far as like bad experiences, like sure, I had people that I've known for a bit, and they had done things where I'm like, okay, that's definitely not someone I want to be around.
right.
So I just completely like not like block or anything, but like completely separate myself. Like if I know I'll
Mm,
see that person here or do there, or blah blah blah, then I just won't go in that place or won't do that thing or go there, see them or send them a message, or if I'm in a group with them, don't reply to anything they say or things like that.
right, right.
That's what I because luckily I've never been in a situation where it's like been pretty bad. It just time just goes on. And like you said, time changes people. Not necessarily in a bad way always, but like it does change. Like oh, like you know, my friends over there in Connecticut have their own lives now, friends, families.
Right.
So it's like as time passes, you can kind of just forget about it. So I think time is what's been it for me.
Mm.
Time that just changes. So, that would be
So for
my
you, no, sorry, it's correct. So for you, it's like easy to let go just with time.
yeah. I'm always one to like it's I wouldn't say never like truly easy to kind of like, okay, that's
Mm,
someone that can go. But like
mhm,
I know like that's not someone that's like convenient for me to be around. Because I know like
mm,
person I should be around because it could be a bad influence or something like that. I think about it like, oh man, it's sad, but like I just continue on with like doing my own thing and like not worry about it. And yeah, as time goes on, you'll notice like month passed, 2 months, a year, 2 years, and it was like dang, I haven't talked to that person, haven't seen that person in so long. It's like
mm,
done. So it's like even no matter how close you were. I remember having friends here in Florida, super close, school and high school, like every day see them do things. No, no, I don't know. I know. I think one of them is like married, kids, some of them, but other than that, who knows what they're doing now? What they did after high school. I have no idea. So it's like, yeah, time really just is it for me, at least in my experience, for sure.
mm. I think for me it's quite difficult because for me it's always like I find it hard to let go because in my mind I was like, oh, this person, like did like was a friend, you know what I mean? Like for me, in my case, especially. But it comes to a point where I'm like, I think it's not really perfect, but for me, it's still like, I always tell myself, like, man, I'm too pretty for this person. You know what I mean? Like, maybe my pride thing, but like, I just mean, like, dude, I'm too pretty for this person. You know what I mean? Or I'm too good for, or like, this person is never going to find someone as funny and as fun as me, because, um, I keep on trying to tell myself that, but part of me is like, oh, you should still go like reach out to this person. You know what I mean? This person is your friend.
Right.
And then I
Yeah.
kind of get like, I start to overthink about it.
Right.
Like, why didn't I just, I think some people are like share the same thing as me. Like, why don't I reach back? Or maybe I did something wrong. Or, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. Or I shouldn't
No,
have
exactly.
done, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
I actually
now,
have a
like,
thing. Um,
mm,
because I'm exactly the same way. I'm someone that overthinks completely. So like that's
yeah.
happened to me where it's like, oh, I could have done better. I could have been a
Mhm.
better friend. I could have reached out. I could have said
Right,
something.
right, right,
Could have
right,
done
right,
something,
right.
you know? Do you think that's also part of our personalities of being ENFJs? Because I feel like usually when I talk with people like that, they tend to be the same way. It's like being people that
Mm.
overthink and want to be better, not only to like other people, but like in general. So like I was
Right.
always curious about that because like I've always been like that kind. Like I was even
Yeah.
not even about friends, but like in general, I'm overthinking about everything. About like
Such-
what I what I'm doing now, what I want to do in the future, the mistakes I made in my day, the decisions I made in the past, things like that. I'm overthinking about that. So it's like I wonder if that's maybe part of our like personalities, how we are.
Yeah.
So that was my question for you. Do you think that would be
I think that actually I don't really believe in those ENFJs and stuff, but a part of it is like, yeah, I think also because of the person, the ENFJ, and also like they got there's one about your birthday month. Um, Libra,
oh,
Cancer. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a Cancer. So I'm a
okay.
Cancer and ENFJ. So if you know, it means like I'm super sensitive, that's kind of thing. But I,
Mhm.
I also say, yeah, personality wise, and I also think maybe experience too
Mm,
also does add to it. Because yes, your experience like I think your experience also does add to the personality of it. And as like an ENFJ, which probably I don't really know much about other than about the different MBTIs, but I would say like because we're very soft-hearted people, and I think for one thing I know about ENFJs is that they always think about justice and fairness. So they
right,
want to know what is the wrong thing. I don't know if you feel like that.
right.
Like
No,
sometimes
for
like in a
sure.
situation, I always like I blame, but at the same time, I was like, okay, what did I do wrong? Like, I was trying
Right,
to look for the justice. So
right, right,
I
right.
always try to blame like, okay, what did I do wrong in this? What did I do wrong in that? There are some people who don't do that. There are some people who are like, they know they're wrong, but they're not going to admit they're wrong.
Admit, yeah, for sure.
Right. But I think as the personality type it is like because of that sense of fairness and that sense of justice, okay, they know this friend did something wrong, but at the same time, they want to find out what they're doing wrong. I think that is also part of the personality thing. It's just like they want to find that fairness and justice. And that fairness and justice is not just about people around them, but also themselves. I feel like it's a personality of being an ENFJ. I think it's also part of the experience also that makes you like that. Like
Right.
I think that is the disadvantage of being an ENFJ, man. You can't be selfish. I don't know if you like you want to be selfish, but you cannot really know how to be selfish. I don't know if you know what I mean.
I
I
think I
think
do.
that is yeah, you know that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
sometimes me too, I always try to be mean. Like I think I told you about how I want. Oh my God, I try to be mean to people, and just a part of me is like, I'm gonna regret it. Or, but if
Mm.
like I had this when I was growing up. I always help people, even if it inconvenience myself, because I had this mindset that if I don't help that person and I go to heaven, God is going to ask me, why didn't you help that person? That was the mindset I had. So even if it was for bad things, like a friend would be like, hey, help me cheat on a test. And I know it's bad to cheat on a test. But part of me is like, oh, and of course that's the wrong Christianity mind. Okay. Don't I read too much Bible comics. And literally, and then I'll be like, what if God asked me, why didn't you help your friend on this cheat on this test? And I become so guilty, which I know is bad, but I do it because I feel like God is gonna ask me when I die, why didn't you help your friend? Or like, or a friend wanted to okay, I'll tell this story. A friend wanted to steal her exam paper to change her grades. This was like a school exam. It wasn't
Hey.
like an exam, right? And then she asked me to help her. And I was like, no, that's bad because I'm a good girl. but um, but like I kept on thinking of it. I was like, part of me was like, if I get caught. And then part of me was like, but she really needs this grade. And then like I was fighting and fighting. So okay, I was like, okay, I'm gonna help you do this. So my role was to distract the biology teacher. And biology teacher loves me because, A+ students, even if I hated that class, but A+ student. So as I was distracting my guy, the teacher, this girl went and she changed her grade. But you know what she did to me? So I got an A, but she changed the grade to a B for me. And I didn't realize it until after graduation. And and the thing was that she was just like, oh, I remember the time I changed your grade. And I was like, wait, what? Like this was like 10th, 11th grade. No, this was 10th grade because I was still new in the school, right? And we already graduated. This was like 2019. I graduated 2018. So this was like 2019 we were in college. And she said it in the most mochi, like random or like how to say like a normal way. Like, oh, remember the time I remember the time I changed your grade. And then part of me was like, damn. So I want to be, so I had you know what I mean? I had a reason to be mean to this girl, even if, I still ended up getting an A and everything, but I still had a reason to be
Right,
mean.
right.
So I wrote, so what I did the day before, I wrote all the insults I had in my heart and in my head, say to her. And then I video called her. I couldn't even say the word I wanted to say to her. I was like, you're a bitch. And I couldn't even say that. I was like, you're I was like, you grade changer person. You know,
Grade changer person.
I couldn't, I couldn't say, I couldn't, I couldn't be mean. I couldn't be mean. I wanted, like, I've been trying to be mean. I've been trying to not please people. I feel like that's a weakness and a disadvantage for me, of like me. I think maybe a lot of ENFJs or a lot of people, not ENFJs, but I think a lot of people are like that too. But like, I always try to, like, not try to please people. But for me, it was really hard.
Mm.
It was really hard. So I think like last year summer when I turned 21, oh my God, I'm getting old. But when I turned 21, that's when I realized that I got to learn how to. I'm still in the process, but I got to learn how to be like, Hannah. Like, no, I'm not gonna. So, I don't know. Have you ever had that situation where you had to do something bad for a friend? Tell your darkest secret.
Mm.
I'm not gonna mention her name, but she know who she is.
Uh, no, literally some of the only things I would recall probably just cheating on it, like some exams, like helping like to cheat. Like I would have taken it. the class before or something like that, and I like really remember the exam. They would be like, "Oh, I'm on an exam now," especially with like COVID and things like that, and be like, "Oh yeah, help me out," or something like that. Or like we'd be in the same classroom, like in middle school and things like that, and be like, "Help me out," blah blah blah, and like sitting right next to each other and like doing things um uh like tap their chair like a number of times, and that would be the
Oh yeah, we did
the one
that.
to watch or something like that. It would be like dumb stuff like that. Like as far as like actually like worst things, I don't really
I
have anything.
think
Mm,
I think
What
the
was
worst thing I did. Yeah, I think for me, ah, so there was one time it was middle school. Our math teacher, we hated. There was this math teacher that annoyed all of us. And so how middle school was like the smartest are in the A1 class. So there's A1, A2, A3. So the top 20 smart kids are in A1. Then A2 following like the second smartest kid, and then A3 like that, like that. So I was always an A1 student. And we had A1 math. Even the math class, so math class was different, but I was always in A1. I don't know how. I don't know. I was smart in middle school. After high school, Lord knows what happened to me. But I remember we hit it. I think for me, I never do the action. Like I'm never really part of the person doing the bad option. But sometimes I feel like
but
I'm
you
the
ended up in it.
mastermind. Yeah, I feel like I ended up in it, or I know so or I like started it. So one day we hit it up, our math teacher all failed us, right? And if you fail math at that time, the that class had to wash plates. So our punishment was washing plates. So you had to wash the whole school plates, like with the class. And then he made us wash, and I was like, I wish someone could just like, so I just said it out loud because I think out loud, right? So I was like, I wish someone would just like put a pin under his chair and like, so, and he would go to the hospital. And then literally, someone did it the next day, and she didn't put a pin, she put a nail. And so the nail actually like, so the guy didn't come to class for like,
Whoa, no way.
I swear to God. And so when I heard it, I was like, and then
Wait, but
people,
where
I didn't do,
the
I
nail
did this
went?
that I didn't know she did it. I just said it. You know, it's like you're angry with a teacher, right?
Right, you
And like
know,
people are like, oh my God, I wish you fall down this. I was like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
fall
fall
down
down
the
the
stairs is not enough, right? I was just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude, I wish someone like put a pin or a nail and then make him like, so he'd been in the hospital for like a month or so. And then someone actually did it. And so I remember we were like five girls because we were like the top five girls who were good at math at that time. So all four of them were looking at me like, Xerona. I was like, look, man, I got an alibi. I wasn't there. Like, look, hell no. Because I was in the basketball team. Because I remember I was a junior. I was the only junior. Well, I was in the team. I was the water girl in the team because they're not gonna allow juniors in the team. But I was like, hell no. When that thing happened, I was in the basketball field, with seniors because I was trying to be in the basketball team. But I remember I told them it wasn't me. So I had an alibi and everyone was like, oh, this girl wasn't me. So there was a really big investigation going on in that just because of who did it. And so I think eighth, ninth grade, this happened in seventh grade. Yeah, this happened in seventh grade. In the ninth grade, the girl was confessing that, oh yeah, I did the thing Xerona said. I was like, what? It was you, dude? You did this? And then that's not the first time. Like second time, another time was another. Oh my God, I hated my English teacher. And I was like, oh, I wish someone would just steal her wig.
Oh my gosh.
And someone stole her wig. And so I
Oh,
was like, what it is, I don't force people to do it. But I ended up being involved in things like that,
even
because
the
I'm just
basketball
like, yeah, you know? And then I'm like, and then one day in middle school we got caught. So a girl got caught doing the action. And then we didn't even know. I was in class. I remember I was in social studies class, my favorite class. And they come, they're like, oh, the principal wants to see you, Xerona. What do I do now? Okay. So I went, being like, what? And they were like, Miss Xerona, remember these call us Miss Xerona, I heard you proposed a plan to because there was this music teacher had this nice watch that he was always trying to show off. And she was like, I heard you proposed to plan to steal the watch. I was like, huh? And then the girl was like, yeah, you said. I was like, whoa, 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 calm down. And then I told like, look, I was angry with our music teacher because he failed us. And I was just like, I told them, I wish, I was like, man, if I didn't say, I was just like, um, man, that guy's, he's always flexing that watch. What if that watch got misplaced? You know what I mean? I just told them I say it out loud, but I didn't tell her to do it. You know what I mean? I just said it, like you're angry and you just say things like that. And
Yeah.
then the girl was like, yeah, but like you gave me the plan and the plan was in, it was, I remember we went on trial because we had like a school court where and actually the principal and the owner of the school, they were judges, you know what I mean? They were actual like judge. They have been practicing law for 55 years, and the owner of the school was 86 years old. So imagine her judging because Nigeria have the wig and the, so imagine you're with the, what they call the gravel or whatever, and then you're meant to like present yourself and there's someone typing. This was middle school, for goodness. And one person was like, I was like, I just said it out of anger, but I didn't know she was gonna do it. And then this girl was blaming me like, oh, but you gave me the idea. The idea was in my head. And I was like, yeah, if I tell you to jump the street, you're not gonna jump the street, you know what I mean? And this guy, so I got punished for like 2 days to wash the plates, but like yeah, he went to America, but it was just like, but like the thing was that people were like, people didn't really blame me because they were like, I mean, like I'm not the, I didn't say tell her to do it. I didn't force her to do it. I just did an idea. So at a point in time, I remember I had to wash plate, and then they told me never to say what's in my mind, especially about a teacher. Like that was like my dude. I've had the most random stupid, like people be like, if I had a Netflix series about my life, man, it'll be drama, action. Unfortunately, no romance, but but it would be a lot of like things going all over that place. So like I've
Yeah, I
always
got
been like the, yeah. Have you ever had that situation where like you're the mastermind of something, or like you initiated something but you didn't actually think someone was actually gonna do it?
mm,
No. Am I the only weird one?
I think when I was in middle school, I think middle
Mm.
school or elementary. I think it was middle school. I I told you, remember? This like weird I'll tell you like two stories. We were doing like a water day or something like that. And I was like,
Mm.
this is a teacher that I really respected, but like really kind of like made me mad at thing one day. And then
Mm, mm, mm.
we had that thing where it's like a hill, and then you put the like black carp on it on top, and then like spray it with water, and you
Uh,
can slide down.
oh,
I believe you were like doing that, and then I was like that teacher is like really making me mad. I wish somebody would just like push her down it or something like that. And I said that to like a group that was just sitting around. I was just like, but that
right,
was
right, right.
then literally right after, like, I think like 10, 15 minutes later, I'm just like sitting down waiting. I'm like, okay, I'm seeing people like going down. And then out of nowhere, all you hear is like a scream. And a kid pushed the teacher straight first. And she went straight down first. And I was just like, oh. And she was like not like dressed to like go on like water or anything. She was like dressed like normally. And then so all you see is like her like facing down, like just going down this slice. And I'm just like,
Did I?
and I started laughing. And then I started laughing. I was like, damn, you kind of deserve that, right? And I was like, the first thing I had in my mind. And then after I was like, wait, that girl was sitting next to me Was she did she hear what I had to say and do it? That's kind of like what like came into my mind, right? I was like,
Right.
damn, I
It's like,
think it was the cause
yeah,
of
like
it.
you feel that little guilt,
Yeah, I
right?
was
But
like,
like
oh,
you didn't do it.
I think I'm yeah. And then the second story I remember telling you guys about my only ever referral or like super in trouble that I got in class or in school. Do you remember the pushing? Oh, yeah, I remember. So the only referral I've ever, or like, super in trouble that I've like really gotten was
Mm-hmm.
in middle school here in Florida. I we had like a physical day or something like that, and we were doing
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know what it was. We were like doing it was like PE, but it was like doing like small sprints or like we were just like running around playing tag or something. Not tag, like
Mm-hmm.
something kind of like sprints or just like running side to
Sport,
side.
yeah.
And and then I told you guys that I was behind this girl on the line, and and uh, I believe the professor was like, "Oh, start, go," and she wouldn't like go, and then she was like, finally like, "Okay, walk like super slowly, but like not moving at all, pretty much." So then I
Mm,
was just like, "Okay, this is weird." So then I literally just stand there, and then she's kind of like going now. And then
mhm.
I didn't like pay attention to her at all. So he said, go for me. And I was like, all right, full blast. I go
Right.
and I did not see her at all. And I put my hands up like to like
Mhm.
brace, right? And then I hit her in the back. She just like falls forward. She's on the floor like, oh my gosh, why did you push me? No, 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 no. And I'm just like, what? Like, I didn't even see you
You
move.
deserve.
Like I wanted to
Right.
like And then the professor comes over, why did you push her? And everyone's around me like, you pushed her, this and that. And I was just like, what? What is going on here? And then literally got taken into the principal's office. Why did you push a girl? You should never do that. Blah, blah. And then literally, oh my gosh, taking that referral to my parents. The beating I got, yo. That's probably another podcast episode is like growing up with our kind of parents and our lifestyle is definitely yo, like it was scary. I was scared to go. Like I was like, yo,
You gotta be,
you
man.
make me take this home, principal. I might not come back tomorrow. Like that's literally what I thought.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Like Jesus gotta touch my mom's heart for her not to woo.
for me not to end 6 feet underground, please, 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 please. But
Right.
those are like the only two situations where it's like that one was the only time I've ever gotten like super in trouble, and the other time was like the only time where I kind of felt like, oh, maybe I did cause that to happen. I was like, yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think what we kind of learned like in this episode is like really like how similar we are in a lot of ways.
Right.
Like we definitely have so much similar qualities, and I think that's why you said that we got so close. And I definitely agree. Like just how easy it is. It's like because we kind of like at the same time feed off each other of like the energy we give
Right.
off and like how genuine we are. But we're also not afraid to talk about like the things that happened to us in the past or
True, 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 true.
details about things. Um and like I said, that walk that we had, I think that was the where we like actually talk first. I think that was the part where I
Right.
was all right, this person actually shared like how they
Wasn't
felt.
afraid to
It's
share.
weird.
Yeah, right.
And like you hardly find people like that. So it's like easy. So then and then as time went on, we just discovered like, yo, our personalities are pretty same, ENFJs. We're kinda crazy in separate ways. I think you're like crazy in terms of like
Random.
the vibe that you give off, but also like the fun character that you want to be. It's like the crazy
Mm,
part. But you also have that
mm,
serious side to you. Where I'm a little bit
right.
more when the face that I show to people is a little bit more serious, things like that. But
Serious.
once you get to know me a little bit more, I do have that little crazy.
Yeah, it's a little like we're like the same, but like opposite. Because when people meet
Yeah.
me, they always think like I remember like a marketing professor, right? Because I'm always asking like sometimes I ask the most stupid question in class, but sometimes like, how did this girl come to college? So one day I was asking him some questions and like stuff like that. He was just like, I'm curious, like no offense, but like, what's your GPA? And I put on my GPA, and that guy was like, dude, your GPA is high. I was like, why are you so surprised? No, he was just like, no, I was just curious. I was like, what? Like, he was like, I never thought of like, he was like, I know you're smart. I know you try to answer questions, but he was like, I didn't just expect you to have, you know, a high. I was and so in my mind. So my mind was like, do I give up a stupid vibe? Like, like,
Mm,
am I like people like when it comes to like studying, like I would like I'm a talkative, but when it comes to study, I would close myself and I would just like focus on study. I crammed, the snowball effect. They know what I mean. But yeah, I think like for me, like I give up a very crazy vibe, but like at the same time, I'm very serious in some certain things. But I
mm.
think for you, when I first met you, I thought you were like all those like business people, with your suit. But then I got to know you more, and I was like, nah, this guy, he got a little screw inside his head that he know how
Oh,
to
dang.
not in a bad way, but
Okay.
like you know what I mean. Like you don't
Yeah,
give
yeah.
up the crazy vibe.
Mm.
But when I actually got to know you, I understood. Like, man, this boy ain't normal. You know what I? Not in a bad way, but like
In a
in
unique way.
a in a very unique, very only unique,
Ooh,
fun,
ooh.
but disguisable way. So that's how I put it. You know how to disguise your madness
Yeah.
and your
I've
craziness.
been,
I was like,
yeah, I've been kind of
yeah,
used
I
to
was
like, hiding is the wrong word, but like definitely having two sides to me. Where like,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
have that like professional side because that's the side I want to go into, like being
Mm,
serious, being like calm about things, that calm look that I have. But then I also have that side where like, yo, I want to have fun with friends, talk about some like
mm,
crazy things, some funny things, enjoy going out to eat and having food, or doing fun things like going to movies with y'all and doing crazy stuff at the end, like taking pictures in front of the screen and being in crazy
mm.
poses. Like I have those two very distinct sides, and like I think at first people see that side that I tend to show off
Professional
with.
side.
Yeah. Then once they
Mm,
actually like, get to know me, then I'll start opening up, and then they start to see that like, oh wow, he's actually quite talkative. He's actually pretty interested in what I have to say, or
yeah,
he's pretty funny and maybe in a weird way or like crazy way and things like that. So I think people are kind of
mm.
surprised after a bit. They kind
After
of
that, well, for me, it's like a little bit opposite. Because for me, like when you see, I'm a talkative. Like first time you
oh
meet
yeah.
me, I'm a really like, and some people are always like, what kind of girl is this? Because I think I tend to bring out that happy side and stuff like that. And then when you get to know me, you get to be like, oh, this girl's serious and like stuff. Like there's some things that I take really seriously. I'm just like,
Right.
and I just become, I'm a chemi saram, chemi like very fun. And then I
Yeah.
become that chincha moji.
Skincha.
I become that chincha yoja, from
Skincha.
chemi to chincha.
Uh,
So I'm gonna be using some stupid Korean slangs here.
yeah.
So
Get used to like, oh, later on for sure. We have I would say I have a couple Korean friends I would definitely want to invite on here. So they all know English like really well, so I'm pretty sure they would be
right. So yeah.
awesome.
So
But I definitely would want them to like, if they are not sure about something, speaking Korean. So definitely this is gonna
Mm.
have some Korean, some Spanish in there, maybe somewhere. Don't
Ooh,
worry, when those things happen, we'll definitely like come
it's
out with
gonna
edits and
happen.
subtitles. Definitely like make sure that things are there and like yeah, just if
Right.
a friend isn't sure about what they say, they can see it in Korean. We'll gladly like translate it for you guys, but also like
Translate.
think about having
Yeah.
like subtitles. So yeah,
Mm.
so look forward to all those cool interviews and but yeah, I'll say we're two definitely interesting people, I would say. So
Very interesting.
uh and the people around us are even more interesting and
Oh,
way more one crazy, way more
you're
unique.
unique. You're
And
very unique. Yeah.
the person
You're
next
you're
week that we're
gonna.
gonna have as our first guest
She's
is
very. Let's just say she's very unique
hmm,
in a very unique way. And yeah, but don't worry, she's mentally stable for now.
that we know of.
For for now, she's mentally stable. Okay. But like there's some things you hear and then you're like, how did
Oh
she
yeah,
come up?
some things that like come out of our mouth is like what?
You're like, what the
Eh?
hell? Like
Guru?
what you say? Wait, what?
Yeah,
Marago? Like
yeah,
that. But she's mentally stable.
yeah.
Trust me. Like, you don't
Mentally
need to call an
stable,
emergency. Well,
right?
she just
But
has that switch.
but genuine, genuine to the
Genuine,
holiday.
very genuine
Very someone very kind, very sweet, someone very that actually does care about people, no matter how crazy she kind of is,
and
and but
expert.
very takes things very seriously in terms of like the people that she surrounds herself with, and actually like
Right.
cares about
Her values
not
as
only
well.
herself, yeah, her values and the people that she wants to be around, and like taking
Yeah.
things in a good way and not being a
Yeah.
bad person and such. So I think that's, and then she's also part of our ENFJ group, so she's kind of like us in a lot of ways, but she's like I would say I'm out of all three of us, I'm the lowest level, and there's Xerona. Then there's like 5 levels more, and then it's her. So it's
Yeah. Like
like,
we got a madness school. So I'm in my
oh yeah,
undergraduate of like craziness. She's in the PhD level. Like she's a professor. She's a professor of the Madness University.
yeah.
The dean. She's the dean professor. Okay. And then I'm the undergraduate trying to graduate. I don't
And
know,
I'm the
like
and I'm the
Brian is still
dropout
stuck
apparently.
in his he's still stuck in first semester. I don't know what he's
First
trying to
semester,
do, but
I'm a
he's in
dropout.
the
That's
first
what I've
semester.
heard. I'm a
Yeah,
dropout
he
apparently.
dropped out. Yeah, he dropped out and then he tried to, he
You go
reapplied
back in.
again. He go back in.
Uh,
So he's still in his first semester. And then when you meet more people, you start the ladder of madness. There's some people who,
oh,
are considering our Thailand friend is considering our university.
where?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we're
we
not
we
sure
have
if she can handle it, but
yeah. So there's
definitely, yeah,
definitely more friends that are in that school, not part of the ENFJs, but they definitely have that craziness to them, and
give me
more
that
people come.
chance.
But yeah, so next week we'll have our good friend I get him or Kedim, we call her for short because it's kind of easier for Korean people to
Right.
pronounce it for her. So Kedim or I get him, and yeah, so look forward to her. Um, I think it will probably be our most funnest because we'll get to chat about her more at the beginning, but then we definitely want to like go into more of our fun topics and just talk about like crazy
Right.
stuff that we always did when we were together in Korea. But yeah, I would say definitely since I left, I definitely knew I was gonna miss it, and I've been enjoying my time here with family and stuff. But like, man, I have been missing you guys, missing Korea, missing all my friends, people that I care about there. But yeah, so hopefully go soon. See all you guys again, especially everyone, like I said, that I care about, friends for sure that I made. But
Yeah.
yeah, but look forward to that next week episode. It's gonna be really fun. We had a great time here. Long episode, but wanted to share a little bit about ourselves and especially learn a little bit more about Xerona and myself. So I hope you enjoyed it. We'll definitely, share more stories that we have later on. Like we said, we're gonna have to share our friends here, get to know them, talk about topics like we did today, about like struggling a little bit, growing up, or like fitting in, being new to places like Sharon and I were, growing up, moving to a different place altogether, like being the only one there and kind of figuring things out. So yeah, so that's kind of podcast that we want to be, just share thoughts, talk about topics that are serious, and have our friends here, have a good time, talk about stories, really enjoy it together. And yeah, so you have anything you want to say, Saran, before we end up soon?
Just like, yeah, just um expect more things. Like, it's gonna be a fun podcast, but I think also a podcast where people can relate to, and also like,
Mm,
especially like for me, it's mostly for kids nowadays, the middle school and the high schoolers who are having difficult times. Like, I feel like even college students, even married couples, I think like maybe if you can relate to one of our experiences.
mm,
We're not perfect, but we are people who want to like share. We're not afraid to share about um what we have. So I would say that you should keep listening, and yeah,
and then
enjoy.
to
Because that's
finish
what we do.
off, really hit that like, also comment. We'll read pretty much all of it, just because we want to like, hear from you guys. If you have any recommendations, also like topics or anything like that, we'll also take recommendations. So let us know. So yeah, hit that like, comment, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. So make sure that you're always getting our videos when they're uploaded. Definitely want to upload this hopefully as quick as possible with the first episode, so you have a double upload. But right now we don't have a set schedule of when because we're kind of still kind of figuring that out. But once we kind of do, you expect probably like once a week when everything's like really set up. So yeah, so definitely looking forward to all of that. Like Zerona said, have a good time with our friends and like have funny stories and enjoy ourselves, but definitely like talk about things and more on the serious side and share about stories and hopefully, people like Jerome said, middle, high school, college can relate, think about to not be worried of like being alone. Am I the only one that felt like that when in this situation or like things like that we want to like really be people to share and hopefully people to relate to and like care about. That's the thing that we really want to do. Just be genuine people. So that's what this podcast is definitely on. So yeah, so look forward to next week or next time. Like I said, our friend, I get in. It'll be a fun episode. Definitely a fun episode. Definitely look forward to that crazy episode. But yeah, so it's been an all-encompassing podcast with one of your hosts, me, Brian, and
Zerona with an X.
she's gonna do that every time. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed the episode, guys. And yeah, see you in episode 3. See you guys.